I mean, because I mean I've got all kind of bullet molds, sinker molds, actual bullet molds, blank molds that I've made stuff out of. And so yeah, right here, this is bullet head mold for baits and or jigs. 5/0, 4/0, 3/0, 2/0, 1/0, and a number one all the way down here. Model JBS-6-A, bullet jig. They labeled it. See, they were smart. I never did that on mine. And I got so many of these things, I have to sit there, open them all up and look at them. Nope, that's not the one I want. And do that about 50 times and finally find the one I'm looking for. So that's hook sizes, and then weight. You got 1 ounce, 3/4, 1/2 inch, 3/8, 1/4, and 1/8 ounce bullet heads. And so this little discoloration here, that's kind of a technique that a lot of people will use. If you get your mold temperature just right, you can cast your lead and it's no problem. You don't need to smoke it. But this is smoking, where they'll take a candle or a cigarette lighter or anything, and you want just the carbon footprint left behind, and it'll turn it all black. But I've got a spray that I can put on there that works just as good and lasts for years. And so that's what I'll do with any of my molds that I actually I'm casting with. I got a lot of pellet gun molds, and that's what I've done with a lot of those. So this right here is pretty cool mold, but I don't know that I'll use it for anything. But I keep all that stuff because, you know, eventually, at some point, I potentially will find a use. And so here's a tiny TS. I don't know if this is a duplicate mold or what. Well, I don't think it is. I think it's almost. This right here, I've got one that's kind of like this, but I think this might be a little different. It's kind of like a creature mold / crawfish mold. Just a little combo of everything. Overall, it is 3 1/4 inches. Width is 2 1/4. We're going to say 2.5. And this right here would be the claws, tentacles, and in the legs of the crawfish and the body. And so this right here is kind of like a little creature crawish type deal. I think the other one I've got, it's like in slightly reverse, and it's, I don't know. I just had to get them all out and look at them. So what I may do is kind of get these categorized and cataloged and kind of put together so you guys can maybe vote, see what you want me to try to cast and use. But that'll have to be for a video after the vacation, because I don't have time to do it before then. This is a 4.5 inch hog. I don't know if this is the Boss Hog. Yeah, this is a Boss Hog. 4.5 inch Boss Hog. And so this is a pretty cool one. This, I don't need to measure it. It's, you know, you stretch it out and it's going to be 4.5 inches. So this is kind of cool. This is kind of a variant, in my opinion, of like a frog / crawfish / whatever. The thing about it is, with a fish, it just needs to look like something it wants to eat. It doesn't have to be exactly like a crawfish. It can, and these baits, I believe, work well because they're kind of in between a crawfish, a frog, whatever that a fish is going to eat. And different colored waters, it thinks it's something else, and it goes for it. And so these are kind of just, you know, tricking it into a potential better deal. If it crosses one fish and all he wants to eat is frogs that day, and it crosses another fish and all he wants to eat is crawfish that day, chances are, if the color of the water is just right, they'll both bite because they'll both think it's, you know, what they're looking for. And so that kind of gives it a cross potential whatever. Now these fins right here are kind of deep cut. They are about 1/4 inch deep, about as deep as the body is. And these legs here are pretty deep too. So this will be a pretty significant size bait. I'm looking forward to casting this one. I may want to try to cast this as one of them to bring on the vacation to try to fish to see if I can get anything out of it. And then here we go with the big old Bergen. And this is a 5-inch carrot. A 5-inch carrot. Yeah, it's a carrot. Basically, that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like a carrot. I don't know what kind of... I don't know that I've ever seen a bait like that, but hey, it could intrigue a fish into biting. That's all it's got to do is get one to nibble on it. So that's a pretty cool bait. I mean, it's just a straight spike looking thing, just like a carrot. A little bit of roughness in the mold right up through there and there. That's all. That's a little rough. So this mold right here has got some roughness. Seems like on one side, and that may just need to be cleaned. Chances are, because I don't know if you're aware of this, but aluminum rusts, or it don't rust, but it oxidizes. Let's say that, which is what rust is. It's an oxidant of steel. It changes its metallurgic, whatever you want to call it, and becomes rust. That's what bluing is on a gun. It's rust. I forget the symbols, but it is basically you take a piece of metal and you get a red oxide rust on it, and you card it off or brush it off with a stainless steel brush, and it turns bluish. And then you do it again, and it's bluish-er. And you do it again, and it's bluish-er. And you keep doing it until it's as bluish as you want. And so that's how you blue metal or guns and stuff like that. There's also chemicals to do it, and it's a whole drawn out process and can get very expensive. But anyway, so aluminum rust. What happens is, and this is like this kind of smooth stuff like this right here is usually a extrusion, and it tends to hold up longer and better in the elements. And the cast stuff, which I can't get to one easy, but the ones I said that I thought was a Essential Series mold, that tends to do it even worse. And it'll become brittle and just kind of waste away to nothing. It's like a whitish film that will come across the aluminum. And like this will be there for a lot longer, but the other kind will eventually just degrade into nothing into the ground and be like a white powder. But that's kind of what this may or may not be. If you set this stuff up exposed to the elements and you don't shield it well enough, I don't think you can put oil on it and stop it or whatever. But anyway, so aluminum rust, just trust me. 4-inch crawl. So this is a 4-inch crawl. And this end says 4.75 inch crawl. So it really doesn't know how long this crawl is, but it's a crawl. Okay, this is a cool one. I do want to cast some of these. And so this is a crawl variant. It's a dual mold. And so here's your pinchers. There's some straight tentacles on there and a ribbed body. And then this would be just kind of a little plug butt on it, kind of simulating the tail curled up. And then your sprue coming in to each side. So what is the length on this thing? It is 4.5 inches. And I can't see that stretching much further. So it's about 4.5 inches, not 4.75. But this is a pretty cool one. I think I'm going to make some of these. So I hope I didn't bore you. I hope you're still awake and you stayed for all of this. But like I said, if you want to see details on any of these molds, let me know, and we will do a detailed video at some point to show you more about these molds. But I do want to try to get some cast this week. I don't really have any resin other than the leftovers and some of the... I bought some old worms from Walmart, so I'm going to try doing that stuff and coloring some of it. So I'm only going to do a few of these molds because I don't have much plastic to be able to do it with. So with all that said, I appreciate you sticking around, and I tried to rush through this so that you wouldn't be bored, so that I finally get all of these molds in front of you. So with this video, you're going to see all of the bait molds that I have, and I don't have intent in buying any more because I can't afford it. I don't buy anything new, so I have some stuff that seems to be, oh, you know, he's loaded with money because he's buying all this expensive stuff. No, I find deals on eBay, and it's like a 16th of the price of the actual item. And I usually tend to be pretty lucky on getting it working or it working out of the box. Kind of like some of the wireless lapel mics that I got, and they're working, and I'm getting most of them fixed up. And so anyway, I'm hoping to get this posted out there because I think some of you guys think I died because it's been a little bit since I've posted some videos. This may be the very next video that I put out there. And I think I may have mentioned in an earlier video tonight that I was a little discouraged on the response on the channel, on, you know, the views and the watch hours and all that. And so that's another reason, kind of, other than losing all the videos that I had, and this is another reason why I kind of held back, because just a little bit of a mini depression, because I know that hit September, I'm going to be hitting a lot of anywhere from 10 or anywhere from 2 to 34 watch hours a day that I was getting in, and now I'm getting maybe 4 to 10 watch hours a day. And so I'm going to start going backwards once it wraps around to a full year that I've actually started trying to develop this channel. But in September, end of October, the 1st of September is where I started developing this channel last year. And it's come a long ways, and I don't want to give up. And so I just had to give myself a little break so I wouldn't give up. And so if you made it this long, then I'd ask that you'd like and subscribe, and that you would share this video out to other people so that they would like and subscribe. But I'm not going to give up. You'll never lose until you quit. And as long as you're trying, you may not succeed, but as long as you're trying, one day you'll win. But you have to keep going to win. And so I'm going to keep going. So I appreciate you guys. I thank you. And I'll see you soon. Your time is very important to me, and I thank you for spending it here with me. Thanks, and God bless.